A great many farmers grow grain of one kind or another. Rice, wheat, maize, sorghum, beans, and a lot of other kinds as well. It's likely that you or somebody else in your family, maybe a number of people in your family, grow grain. If you do, you know that before you plant the seeds, you have to prepare the land well. You have to plant good seeds. You have to do certain things too to make sure that the weeds don't grow and choke out your crop. Then if the weather is good, the time finally comes for the harvest. Again, more work has to be done. Harvesting, threshing, in many cases drying, and finally storing the grain. That's a lot of work you've done to get that grain for food for your family, perhaps for your animals, or even to sell. And I think you'll agree with me that once you have the grain you worked so hard for, you don't want to waste it. And certainly you don't want insects to eat it or mess it up. You probably already have a fairly good bin of some kind for storing your grain, or maybe you use sacks or some other containers. The question is, how do you keep those insects from spoiling the grain? You might go to a store and buy a chemical insecticide to protect the grain from the insects, but then perhaps there is another way that might be just as effective. Let me tell you about one that wouldn't cost any money. In some places in the world, farmers do not kill insects with insecticides. Instead, they discourage them with ashes, and ashes work very well for them. If insects have spoiled your grain in the past and you haven't found a good way to keep them out of it, maybe dry ashes would work for you. Serving agriculture, the basic industry, this is George Atkins.